Wow. Wow. The screen looks great. I think the lighting and the new angle, it's a little intense. But with that being said, my name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. Along with that, the SEOmastermind.org, the number one SEO mastermind. With those two things out of the way, today's video, what I'd love to share with you is how you can better optimize your Google business profile in order to mirror your local business website. So I would like to share with you an example. And the example comes from a conversation that I had today with a business owner. This is a agency owner that had a client that they were struggling with. What I'll go ahead and share with you here is a, oh, wrong one. What I'll share with you here is a grid map of the Google business profile in which they were having some trouble with. So this is a UK business, and over the course of time, for two separate keywords, one being boiler repair, the other is boiler installation or servicing. In any case, this particular business has four separate services that they provide, but they're all pretty much the same thing. They do boiler service, boiler repair, boiler installation, and they are a heating and boiler company. With that being said, I want to point out some of the tips or secrets that can definitely help lead to more phone calls, more leads, sales, right? That's the true objective here. So here's what they're working with. They're starting to fall off. And one of the first things that I pointed out was this. So here, we'll come on over here. Note they are a UK business, but if you were to search for boiler, and yes, I already got permission to showcase some of these things. So this isn't my business. I was just helping this business, just tips and strategies, right? And I'm hoping that it can lead to their success, but I wanted to share these tips with you because I know that it can help your business as well. It's the same concepts, the same principles, this foundational SEO can certainly help you out. This is a live stream, so I'd like to give you also some time. All right. I'd love to give you the opportunity to please ask any questions that you might have. The chat will be open once I get through the presentation, right? The talk here. I'd love to answer your questions. All right. So I do not want to waste time. I want to point these elements out. So the first thing that I went in and I did is I looked for their primary term. So it's boiler repair, and where they care about is Derby, right? So Derby is a city in the UK. So I look up boiler repair. I can see here that it's throwing a 3-pack. That's a good sign. They're not in the 3-pack though. But when I come over here and I check inside of maps, I can quickly see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18! This is a massive issue, especially since they were just previously a winner, right? Now, note, they're in Derby. So they were previously a winner just 60 days ago. So what did I go and do? Well, I took a look at their name here, O'Brien Heating Solutions. My next search, right, while we were talking was, well, I wonder if you're ranking for heating in Derby, right? Like, do you show up for that? Is there a issue with the actual profile? See, the highest optimization can come from within your name. So what I wanted to go and do was go and take a check. Hey, do they show up for heating in Derby? Well, let's go ahead and take a quick look. When I take a look at heating in Derby, when I scroll down the list, I could see that they're 1, 2, 3, 4. They're the 5th result. So we know that it's not a direct profile issue. They're heavily optimized for heating. It's in their name. I go and I take a look. Boom, they're there. So we know that that's not an issue. Now, as a side note, what I want to point out is this. I noticed that they are utilizing a tool, right? If you've used this tool before, you know what tool this is. Now, I don't want to put the tool on blast because the guys are great. But what I will say is this. You want to limit the amount of API connections that you're utilizing. When you're dealing with API connections, that means that there is a footprint or a number associated with a particular profile. When connected programmatically through solutions, this opens you up to an array of things that could potentially happen to you. Also, when connected through API, inside of these tools, they will have these solutions that will say, hey, let's lock the account. What they're doing when they're locking the account is when people go and make a change, it reverts back. If somebody knows that you're connected through API connection and you're using these tools, what somebody could do is repetitively make changes, because then it's going to continuously revert it back because I know you're connected through API. You with me? This constant, resetting can cause your profile massive issues. So I would highly recommend either shutting this off or have a tool that you can check that's not going to continuously be connected. All right. With that being said, I want to move on to some of the other optimizations. Now that we've gotten that out on the table, let's move through some more tips. All right. Now we are targeting Darby and we do 4 different things. One of the main secrets or hacks or tips or optimizations that we want to do is we want to establish, well, what do? We know that Google is rendering the DOM, the document object model. They are utilizing what's inside of the document object model in order to help rank. Yes, maps and your website are 2 different things, right? However, when we know that the way that Google is interacting with our website, the page that's connected can affect what's going on in your maps listing. So with that being said, if we have 4 main things that we do when we're looking at the website, we want to make sure that in main optimization zones, A tags on the page that's connected, we want to put our primary terms. Now, as you can see here, I can see that they have their installations, their repairs and servicing. And as I scroll down the page here, let's just take a look here. Do we start seeing other A tags, hyperlinks, that contain the primary terms that matter? Remember, they only do 4 things, right? They do the boiler repair, they do the servicing, they do the installation, right? They're doing boilers. So I want this to show up numerous times within A tags on the page that's connected. Why? Because this will lend to the overall optimization and ranking at the end of the day of the profile. So I could see they have it up at the top. Do they have it in the footer? And do they have it in the body section? This is a massive optimization that needs to be made. Primary terms in A tags on the page that's connected. Let's move on. The next piece that I want to point out here is this. All right. I can see here, and I talked to this business owner. All right. Why is this page not, why can't I see the sidebar here? Let me take a look at something here. Why is this doing this to me? I guess it doesn't matter, right? Now, here, let's move on to the next element. Oh, I was getting my tags together. I apologize. All right. So let's move on to the next thing. We talked about the document object model. We talked about having API connections, maybe shutting that off, or at least if we have a lock on it or something to the effect of a lock, we want to make sure that that's shut off. So that way it's not continuously refreshing. An ideal situation is let's not even connect it or keep it connected. Limiting the amount of API connections is only going to be beneficial to you. All right. Besides this, all right, the next element that I want to bring up was the A tags, heads, foots, and in the body, primary key terms that we want to rank for need to show up in these particular zones. Ideally, primary locations that we want to target And secondary locations, we'd love for these to show up in A tags as well within the page that's connected. This sometimes can be relatively difficult. However, it will only lend to more rank, more calls, more leads. Let's keep moving on here. All right. Here's where else I want to point out. All right. What I found interesting is we are targeting Darby. I talked to the business owner and they tell me, hey, Chris, I'm having trouble ranking for my installations, but they have a boiler installation page. And I found this to be, intriguing. Something I noticed though is their main homepage, right? Maybe just like yours. On your homepage, your name is O'Brien Heating, right? I look into your main optimizations of a page, right? And I can see that, okay, your title tag is perfectly fine. Your H1, wait a second. We're targeting boilers and that's perfectly fine. But in my lead H2, okay, the word installation is showing up. However, I have a dedicated page that I want to rank for the same terms. Heading tags are not for sizing, all right? If I need to have, when I land on this page, I want it to say, hey, we do installations, or hey, we are doing, new boiler installations. That's fine, of course. That's for the human beings. But we are not going to utilize primary terms that I have other dedicated pages for within the main H tags within our page. Why would that be a problem? The reason why that's a problem is I now have one of my most powerful pages where all the internal links are pointing. I have the same optimization as an internal page that I'm trying to rank. That's going to cause conflict, if not cannibalization, for that other page. This is an issue. Let's move on. The next thing that I want to point out here, as far as optimizations are concerned, is exactly, I want to build on what we just talked about. When you first build your website, right? You start building out your website. What do? You get your citations, you get your directories, you do your web twos. You are inundating Google and other search engines with name, address, phone number. You're trying to become synonymous with the services you provide in the areas you provide them. And I'm trying to get my brand name associated with the services in the locations I provide them, right? However, when I go out there and I build another page targeting the same locations, I don't do the same work. If I pull this in the SEMrush, right, and I take a look at how many links, backlinks, referring domains, and A tags, anchor text are pointing at this page, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to fail in comparison to the homepage. So here's what I'm getting at. The same work that you do on your homepage is exactly what you need to be doing when I launch other pages, right? And you're asking, Chris, I thought this was a Google business, Google Maps. Yes, but they work together, right? I need to be hyper optimized for the services, who I am, what I do, and where I do it, right? And if I'm going to have a page targeting a specific area and a specific service, that I want to be optimal, right? And having an optimal page is only going to help me because I'm going to reciprocally link from the Google business profile to my website from the product section. And that's what we're going to talk about next. But don't miss the point that we just talked about. Citations, not your top 20, right? But there's tons of other citations. There's geo-specific citations, there's niche-specific citations, and there's a slew of directories. If you're curious about which directories to build to internal pages, go to your leading competition. For this instance, let's just say it's this guy, right? You come into here and you're looking for their name, address, phone number, right? What you'll want to do is you'll want to grab their actual name like this, okay? You'll bring it up here, and inside of quotation marks, you're going to put in their name, address, phone number in quotes. What Google's going to do is it's going to display the most authoritative assets, directories and citations, usually besides their social media platforms. They're going to give you the list of what's most authoritative that your leading competition has. Google's going to give it to you. They're going to hand it to you, right? So what you want to do is you want to go through your top 10 competitors based upon service plus location, and you want to pull all of their citations and directories, all of them. should have a list of 100 or 200. Compile your list. And what we want to do is we want to point those to our homepage, and we want to point those to our internal pages that we want to rank. Period. End of statement. Chris, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of links. Chris, I might have already built this link. Yes, but Google ranks pages, not sites. So if I'm building the same directory, let's just say, for instance, that you build the same one. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, right? We have a unique description, a unique URL. And if you have a secondary location, you may even have a unique phone number. But I have a unique image, I have a unique description, I have a unique URL that I'm pointing to. I can make the directory unique. All right, I hope that you're with me so far. What I'm mentioning to you is, or what I want to just finish off here, is building citations and directories, niche-specific directories, geo-specific directories to your internal pages and web twos and socials. All the stuff that you did on your homepage, you have to repeat. It might seem like a lot of work, but this is the work that your competition isn't willing to do, right? And remember, there's going to be a company after you, right? There's going to be another person up the bat. And you want to make it as difficult as possible for that person when they come up to bat. You with me? I want to get not only ahead, but so far ahead when somebody sees it, they'll say, oh, I'll take position 2. You with me? All right, let's move on. So far, we've talked about the API connection, right? Let's get these points out here. So I'll make it short about it. The API connection, right? We've talked about that and why and how that can be an issue. 2, we talked about A tags, okay? We talked about the utilization of A tags, that's hyperlinks with anchor text in them in premier locations like head, foot, and inside the body section to reinforce who we are, what we do, and where we're doing it. The next thing we talked about was heading optimization. We do not want to utilize inside of heading tags on our homepage specifically the primary key terms, like in this case, installation. Why would I put inside of an H tag boiler installation Derby when I have a boiler installation Derby page? I just want to make my life hard. No, we don't want to make our lives hard. I completely understand we want to showcase to the end user, hey, we do this. But the bot and the user are 2 different things. So to showcase to a user, we can size, use bolding, but we want to put that into a div tag or a tag that's devalued. And then we want to go back to our page and use our H2s and our H1s and our H3s and our title tags on our internal pages. Okay, let's move on. Number 4, we want to start talking about the optimization or the reciprocal linking between the profile and the asset. I have way more tips for you. Stick with me here. Let's keep going. All right. These are secrets. These are things that have taken me lots of time to realize. So I hope that this is valuable and helpful for you. Let's keep going on here. I want to talk about the profile. So we're looking at this particular business's asset, right? Their GBP. All right. They went in here. The gentleman had numerous categories listed. When I talked to him this morning, he had 4. I said, you need to immediately, in my opinion, figure out what do the top performers in all of the locations that you want to service, what is their lead category? That's what you want to put. If you see other business owners doing it wrong and getting rewarded, just because they're doing it, just because they're getting rewarded now, doesn't mean that that's the best thing to do. See, diluting your primary category in the short term can give me short-term gains, right? But what Google is doing is they're testing you for other terms, right? While they're diluting your primaries. We don't want to do that. It's the same with the service section. You know, under your business where there's products, there's categories, and then you have your service section. It's the same with that. If I pack in as many services as possible, in the short term, I get a boost, right? Meanwhile, my primary services that I provide that actually make me money, I'm losing while they're testing me for these other things. It's not worth it. Short-term gains are not worth. We're talking about a business here. A business is a repeatable process that I can then sell, right? That's what your business is, regardless of what you're doing. It's something so good that I can repeat it, I can scale it, and it's always going to produce the same result. That we can't, there's no risk. There can't be a risk, right? I can't take a short-term gain and hinder my long-term performance. Never, never, never. I used to, but I promise you it's not going to be worth it. I assure you, short-term gains are not worth long-term performance. They just aren't. Let's move on. We talked about the category here. I'm not telling you anything you don't know about this, right? The other piece is if you noticed, they put heating solutions. Now, this is their name, and I would always tell you to stay within the guidelines, especially with a real business. But if this person put heating and boiler solutions, I guarantee you they would get a lift, right? And I'm sure you already know this. It's the easiest trick. It's, people have been doing this in 2017, 2016, when I first started mucking around with maps, right? But with that being said, I want to point out the categories, which he already changed. I want to showcase to you the services. Here, I'll show you. Let me get in here. I'll show you I think I have a septic guy in here. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can pull one out. I think I have a septic guy in here. I just picked up this lady. Hopefully I can help her. Actually, you know what? I just started working with these. This is our transfer account, so they'll come in here whether we're talking or working with them. So if you saw them in the list, doesn't mean that they're a monthly client. So, just wanted to point that out. But this person we just started talking to, it's a lady out of London. So here, I have to do this anyway. When we're talking about services, oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my gosh, this is craziness. So when we're talking about services, I want to point this out. See this here? See how there's a primary category? The primary category is outlined based upon your primary category. Okay, you with me? Okay, so you set your category. So when you go to edit profile, you set your category, right? Oh my gosh, she wonders why she's losing. That hurts my heart. I don't like to see this. In any case, you set your primary category, right? And your primary category is what your primary service category is going to be. I did not modify this profile yet, but we might do that later on. But with that being said, anything else that you add in here is considered a custom. When you are utilizing a custom, you have to use the terminology that Google wants you to use, or you leave this blank, right? Based on only having your category in here. Now, what I have found from testing and working on dozens and dozens of profiles, you have a few options. You either utilize the exact terminology that Google is utilizing and you mirror your site, or you keep what is already here. Chris, what do you mean by mirroring your site? So let's go back to our example here. Now that we know about primary categories and service section, right? Let me share this with you. When you come inside of here and we are talking about services, if I was going to mirror the site, the only services that I want to say are I have my primary category. I think it's heating contractor. And then the only thing that I would put in there is boiler installation, boiler repair, and boiler services. Why? Because that mirrors the website. These are the exact phrases. I'm being transparent with myself, the customer, and Google, right? But if I put in boiler installation, boiler repair, and boiler services, does Google have a category or do they know what this is? If they don't, I don't add it. You see? Let's move on. The next piece that I want to point out to you is the reciprocal linking of location and service from your website to the product section. Let's take a look at our O'Brien example here. All right. So we're taking a look at O'Brien. O'Brien is in Derby. Oftentimes, see, this is a UK business, so it's a little different. I'm going to use USA terminology to describe this. Okay. But since this is our example and we're talking about a UK business, Derby, see how Google outlines this in red? This is what Google understands Derby to be. If we zoom in just a little tiny bit, what you will quickly find is that Google is outlining, see, in the United States, these would either be towns or counties within a particular city. Now, if I'm not mistaken, these are towns within Derby. Derby is the primary city within the United Kingdom. I could be wrong here on the terminology, but I hope you're with me. All right. Let's not get caught up on semantics here. Let's just get to the information, right? What I'm trying to convey to you is that, all right, Derby is where we want to target. But what we want to quickly assess is we want to make a list of Alstree, Oakwood, Derby, Assay, California, Pride Park, Awesome. And see these bolds? We want to gather up a list of each and every one of these. The very next thing that we want to do is we want to go right back to Google and we're going to take a look at Sunny Hill. So what we want to look up is boiler installation, Derby. And then you want to take a look at this. All right. So step one, figure out what the main area is. See the red? See this red here that outlines? Figure out the main area. Step two, compile a list of towns or whatever, however it is in your country. Compile the list of the towns that are contained within that city or county or town, whatever, however it's outlined where you live. Okay. You're making a list. The number three step or the next step, this is very important. This is why I'm drilling down on this. Okay. This is how you expand proximity. Okay. But what we're looking to do here is we take a look at boiler installation Derby. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to look up boiler installation in, what was it, Sunny Hill. And what we want to assess is, does Google think that Sunny Hill is Derby or is Sunny Hill the same? Now, note, we do not care if there is search volume. A page ranks for more than one keyword. Okay. So if I create a page that's targeting Sunny Hill boiler installation, installer, installations, installers, right? And I talk all about Sunny Hill and boilers, a page ranks for more than one keyword. And just because the head term boiler installation Sunny Hill has 0 doesn't mean that some variation won't produce traffic, calls, or leads. It can. Okay. I know lots of websites out there, lots of lead generation assets that have created pages targeting real estate, like we buy houses in some city and the volume says 0 and it gets phone calls every single month. You see? So what we want to figure out is, does Google think that Derby, UK, check trade, Derby, TS, this is boiler repair, Derby, Doug Hayes, boiler repair, okay, and O'Brien. So my guy's on his homepage is popping. So then we come back over here and we take a look. Does Google think that these are two separate places? Absolutely. Even though they're within Derby. So what does this tell us? This tells us if we have the budget and the time, we need to have two separate pages. But more importantly, when we create those pages, right, because they're not going to cannibalize. Google thinks they're two separate places. That's why we checked both, even though they're in the same area. Now what we can do is when we're inside of our Google Business Profile asset, right, we come inside of here, okay? Now when we come inside of here, here's why I'm showing you this. So remember step 1, 2, 3, and 4. Step 1, identify the area. Step 2, figure out the cities that are in the area. Step 3, do the searches for term plus area. Does Google think they're the same thing or different? If they think they're different, what we want to do is we want to set our Google Business Profile up like this so we can have reciprocal linking back and forth. And this will all play together. Just stick with me here. So here's what we're going to do here. You come on over here to this, right? So we have our SO Brian Heating Solutions. All right. We come in here and we take a look at the asset. I want to show you how you make the reciprocal linking back and forth and expand your proximity by mentioning the locations in which you service. Remember, it's all about who you are, what you do, and where you do it. And this is what you're going to pound down Google's throat, right? And the first step of that is optimizing the profile. Then you optimize the site. Then you push the traffic, and then you push the reviews. And what you ram down their throat is, here's who we are, here's what we do, and here's where we do it. That's it. That's the game. And then as long as you can stay patient enough, you'll become a winner. Sometimes it takes 6 months. Sometimes it takes a year. Sometimes it takes 2 years. Sometimes it takes a day. So bear with me here. So we come inside of here. See this? S. O'Brien Heating. We come on down here. Products. So inside now, we're still growing on we've identified the areas, right? We've identified it's two separate things, targeting boiler installation. Now, what I want to share with you is how you can create that reciprocal linking, right, between the Google business profile and the actual asset, and we back and forth. This way I can convey to Google without a shadow of a doubt that here's who we are, here's the services we provide, and here's exactly where we provide them, right? So inside of here, you get the opportunity to have 4 enhancements. 4. Okay. Now, the 4 enhancements are generally going to be the most important things to you and your business. All right. You with me? Now, why I say 4 is because what you'll see underneath here, see, this particular person has put in more than 4. But here, I'll share with you a client of mine. Here, look. All right. If you scroll down here, well, see, they even went overboard too since the last time I talked to them. But in any case, see how they're popping these out? If you take a look when there's only 4 here, let's try the Hazelton. All right, perfect. See how these categories have been popped out? 1, 2, 3, 4. These are called enhancements. So the enhancements only come when I only have 4. All right, you with me here? So what we want to do, going back to our example here, when we're looking at our business, you pick 4 of your primary key terms. In this case, it's easy. We do installation, we do repair, we do boilers, and we do, I forget what the other one was. So that would be the 4 categories that we set. Chris, what's the difference between a category and a product? The category is this, the product is the actual item. So now, as long as you can stay with me, okay, I hope you can. All right. I'm not for everybody. But what I'm sharing here is now that we have our 4 main enhancements, we're going to have our 4 categories, right? Based on the primary terms that we provide. Then our products are going to be primary term plus location. Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to come out here, as long as we do our homework first, we come out and we say, okay, we want to have one for Darby, Alltree, Oakwood, Chadson, Espadon, you get it? And you stack those in there inside of the asset here. Let me just find it. Let me get rid of this, and this, this. Get rid of that one. I just want to get back to the clean one here. Here, get rid of that. It's got to be here. And then you'll put this in here. So if it's boiler breakdown, let's just say that was one of the main ones. Then you do boiler breakdown Sunny Hills, boiler breakdown Derby, boiler breakdown. But we have to have a page, right? Now, if you want to be lazy and not make the pages, that's fine. But no matter what, when we have our top level page, let's just say it was this page here, installation, then I need to make a list. You can do it with a table or an unordered list or an unstructured list. You can do a structured list or an unstructured list, or you can create a table. And then we want to add each of the locations. The words have to show up if you want to rank for them, unless you're just a big dominant authority. But oftentimes you have to help Google understand who you are, what you do, and where you do your services. So if you want to cheap out or be lazy, on this page here, I would put boiler installations Darby up here inside the URL. And then on the H1 in the title, I would write the same thing. But inside the page, I would write, also servicing Sunny Hill, Avondale, boom, 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 boom. I would list them all. That way I could give myself a chance. Then when I'm inside my profile here, I can link back to the Darby page. Now I can make that connection. Hey, here's who I am. Here's what I do and where I do it. Okay. So these are some of the optimizations that I really want to point out to you for expansion of proximity, getting more calls, getting more leads. This is massively impactful. Now, some of the next pieces that I want to point out here is to add on to, hey, we've identified the area, we've identified our services, we've identified our secondary services. See, the next step, right? And I can't condone, right? Or tell a business owner to do this. But see this red area, right? What you do with your business is up to you. But once we become optimized on our profile and our website just like we just mentioned, right? I have my products, I have my services, I have my website tuned for the services and the products in these areas. The very next thing that we're going to do is we're then going to identify a map, right? We're going to come inside of here, and anywhere there's an actual street, not green, not blue, sometimes orange, we're going to gather up all of the longitude and latitudes. And then we're going to create impressions and searches from those areas, searching for what? Boiler repair, boiler installation. So each of these areas, right? Abbey, Oakwood, Spadon, Derby, Pride Park, Ostermond, Sunny Hill, each of these places, we're going to generate searches searching for those services. I'm not going to geo-modify the search. I'm going to be searching from McOver, searching for boiler installation. And when I go through maps or organic, who am I going to click? I'm going to click on my guy here, O'Brien. But then there's one last piece that you have to make sure of. And this is one that him and I spoke about. I noticed inside of here, inside the reviews, right? Now, consistency of review trumps all, right? And I get that, and that's fine. But when we start coming through here, something that I noticed and something I would highly recommend that you make sure that you're doing is make sure that whatever the service is, mention where they were from and where they received the service. It doesn't even matter if it's not your primary area. Where are they from? Hey, I called from Stanley, UK. Mention location. Location is going to trump key term when we're talking about reviews. It's really ideal to have the actual person leaving the review. Their profile was created there on their residential IP. They create the review. They have other local businesses they've left the reviews on. That's ideal. But at least say the location information. And I want to point this out. I said to the business owner, hey, like, you got to get location. And they're like, oh, we always talk about location information when we reply. The reply holds no weight. It can't be validated. Like, you can manipulate. Google puts more weight on the social signals on the user, the traffic, the clicks, the reviews of the users. They don't trust us. You see? So in any case, I hope this has been helpful. What I want to do is I would like to answer some of your questions. Maybe we'll modify this profile for my good friend here. Let's see what we have cooking. Let's see if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about. Hopefully you may. And I'll be happy to answer some of your questions. Let's make this large. We'll go through. G Gadget, Chris, what's up? What's up to you, my friend? It's great to see you. Eric, hey, Chris, when is your entity software going to be released? It's been released to my team. I believe Sammy has just got back. Also, congratulations, Sammy, if you're seeing this. Sammy just got married. Him and his brother got married literally within the same 2 weeks. He took off. He took paid leave, Sammy. That's okay. Him and I made him a partner, right? What I learned the first time when I created a software, if you've been following me any period of time, my first software that I created, which was awesome, was called, it doesn't matter what it was called, right? But what we were doing is before all this AI stuff, we were going out and scraping the pages from Wikipedia and relaunching the content with GPT-3 spin, right? And we were selling big bulk things of Wikipedia content, right? That it was a scraper and a modifier, and then we would serve the documents. On top of that, while we were scraping through to find the content, we were also looking for old domains that weren't in the archive. So then I was kicking back not only content, but hey, here's where we found this content, and here's the metrics. This was my first attempt at software. However, I had an outside partner doing it. It was very costly. It was very inefficient. And what I learned from that venture was if you are going to develop a tool, you have to make the developer a partner so they have skin in the game and equity to see you succeed, right? So take it or leave it. Hopefully that helps you. But with that said, he just got back from getting married. So hopefully it releases very, very soon. It will be very inexpensive. It's a suite though. I'm not just offering the tool itself. It's going to be a suite, a review checker, a cannibalization checker, all the stuff we look at internally that we've been using scripts. I wanted to put it into a web application. So not only myself and my team can use it, but also we could basically have it in a web app that's easy for team members to use, but also share some of the cost to essentially we can use the tools for free, right? That's my goal. So I want it to be cheap enough that everybody can use it and benefit. Also, while I and my clients can benefit for free, right? That's fair, right? I think so. The cost will be super low. We'll do a maps grid tool, grid maps, cannibalization, entity tool, a review checker, and then, of course, we're going to have rank tracking. That's coming next. That's a big one. Rank tracking costs me so much money. I'm paying like $20 per 1,000 keywords. And when you have hundreds of sites, it's a problem. So very excited for that. Christopher asks, how quickly is it common to see results from making on-page optimizations? Depending on the asset, this can happen the next day, but usually within the next crawl, very quickly. When making modifications, though, just on page, not building backlinks, in order to rank and actually move up, like I'll notice fluctuations within the first 3 days. But as far as, I'll show you an example here, right? Here, I'll show you something here. Here, I'll show you this. Okay. I think I've shared something similar to this. Here. So here, we'll come out here. We'll go incognito, right? And we'll go to Google. And then we'll search for, say, search engine ranker list, right? Search engine ranker lists or lists, right? See, this particular page here, I created 30 days ago. Now I was mucking around with small optimizations on the site because I wanted to build an on-page training around this page to showcase that, to teach people how to do on-page. And the way I did it is I optimized my headers and then I did the rest with all zeros, as you can see here, right? So with that being said, I created it, made my main optimizations, and 30 days later it hit page 1. You with me? So the actual playing around with like the title, I noticed really quickly. To actually get it to rank, it took me 30 days without backlinks. All right. So that's that. Moving on. Hopefully that helps you out. Does building, okay, and then there was a second part to your question. Does building domain authority help the GBP or just organic rankings? So domain rating or true authority of a domain is built with referring domains and age, right? So building authority to your asset technically doesn't really affect your maps ranking, right? Building links to your website isn't going to help your maps. Building links to your maps barely helps maps. There's ways to benefit, but it's not a main driver at all. So that's that. South Charlotte Services, the man, one of them, I guess. Good to see you. He says, what would be the best bet for a business that has competitors doing negative SEO attacks by pointing PBN links with exact match anchors? I disavow some. What else can be done? The probability of somebody doing negative SEO by pointing PBN links to your site with exact match anchors, I would give them a hug. And I would say, thank you, kind sir, for building authoritative backlinks to my website while also using high authoritative anchors. Give them a hug, right? And thank them for a job well done. Something I know about building authoritative backlinks, PBN links, stuff along these lines, is regardless oftentimes of what the anchor is, the probability, like Google makes their decision based on a link. Whether you think or a tool thinks it's good or bad, Google makes a decision on whether it's going to pass PageRank. And more times than not, what you are perceiving as bad is often going to help the end user. So in this particular case or this particular scenario, if somebody, a competitor, is blind enough or ignorant enough to build PBN, authoritative private blog network links to your site with an exact match anchor text, I would thank them very quietly, but I would thank them. They're doing you a favor. They're spending money for you. So good looking out. Now, what oftentimes though, if you take a look, if it's a public blog network, is these cheaper public blog networks, like say you go to an SEO clerk and they have those 100 packs and they're like 50 cents a piece or a quarter a piece. What you'll find is they'll create a server. It'll be one server, and then they're changing the end number, the port number, right? Essentially. What you can do is you can block an entire C block of IPs, regardless of what the names are. So you can block those links from your site reaching you. Another thing you can do is inside your HTA access is you can redirect any links coming in from an IP back to where they came from. You could look that stuff up to go through the technical analysis, but there's some tips for you. Let's move on. Carlos asks, what is the best strategy for a company that covers an entire region like South California, but is based in this particular city? Should my homepage be optimized for region or city? In my humble opinion, all right, if I'm targeting a region, okay, and I only do one service or a service set that's pretty much the same thing, like for instance, like this guy, boiler repair, boiler installation, boiler service, install, and repair, right? And I only target California. You could make your homepage say brand of California. And then I would build my top level pages to target state, and then I would have my cities. All right. So that's up to you. I would still go brand or brand plus city on the homepage. I don't want to cannibalize or fight with myself every time I create a page. It just causes trouble. Unless you're only targeting one keyword or one keyword set. For instance, we have a sell my house fast, we buy houses for cash, cash for houses. These term variations always show the same results. So when we're launching our Generation 4 websites, what we're doing is we're targeting a state, and it's going to be all those terms in the title in the H1, we buy houses, sell my house fast, we buy houses, cash for the state, / we buy houses in the city. We buy houses this city. We buy houses this city. So the homepage is state specific with our city specific subpages. All right. So hopefully that helps you, but that's a unique case. It's one keyword set, right? It's only one. Like if you're a plumber and you do clogs, you do toilets, you do sinks, you do plumbing, this is going to be very difficult for you, right? So hopefully that helps you out, and we'll move on. GMB addresses also, okay. What's up, Chris? What's up, James? Good to see you. Stay with you. I will never have to worry about that. Done with clown show. Only listen to the best. That is you, mad love, brother. It's my absolute pleasure. Yeah, be very mindful. If it's things that are not scalable or have to be done in some magical way, it's probably not something that you want to be doing. All right. The secret is there is no secret. It's consistent and persistent, foundational, good SEO is what wins in the long term. All right. I see all kinds of fly-by-nights, and they'll be doing great, but then it's the next method because that method doesn't work anymore. I'm sick of that game. I'm sick of it. I need something that is continuously going to be effective no matter what, without risk to the end business. It's crucial. It's critical. It has to be. I like the fun stuff too, but 99% of the businesses out there can't run risk. I don't know about you, but you have to make that decision for yourself. But South Charlotte Services, I'm glad I can help you. S.A. Jib. Hello, Chris. Hello to you, sir. Uh-oh. I got the hiccups. Excuse me 1 second. I saw somebody, they were eating something and then they were washing it down with water. I found this to be interesting. But Josh, hey Chris, I'm a service business and I'm a painter with services interior, exterior, and roof painting. Cool. Awesome. Good. Great. Is that a question or a statement, sir? Statement, right? But I'm awesome. Good to hear. What's my thoughts on PBN links? I think that private blog network links or website links from websites are highly effective. I think that links play a part in a long-term strategy. A PBN is only a well-curated blog that sole purpose is to pass page rank. So do I think that website links make a difference? Yes, I do. Do I think that they make as big of a difference as they did in 2015? No, I do not. Do I think that links matter? Absolutely. So PBN is just a salutation of a link, right? Like Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, or right? It's just like me saying Haro links or outreach links or PBN links. It's a link is a link is a link is a link. Just Google value it, yes or no. That's it. All right. So hopefully that helps you out. Moving on. Hey, Chris, service business. Could I explain how you what? I'll just write the second part, my friend, Josh. I'd be happy to help you out. Honest. I'll help you out any way I possibly can. Just get the question in there. So I understand you're a painter with 3 services. Excellent. Just ask your question, sir. I'll be happy to help you out. You're the man, Chris. Love your energy. Thank you, Roz. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name, brother. Good to see you, by the way. Just finding it hard as I can make interior painting and exterior painting and roof painting my parent directory for each city in WordPress. I have to choose one. Could you explain how so lay out? I'm in Australia, hence the city suburb names. Okay. So I can't see what exactly your deal is, but I can understand the 3 things that you do. And here, let me see if there's any questions here. And what we'll do is we'll talk about that. Thank you for that donation. I truly appreciate it. And the thumbs up back to you. Josh, we're going to get to you in 2 seconds here. I'll make a drawing for you. It'll be very, very simple. South Carolina, should I have locations page on domain root or under location serves? Does it matter? Should I have location pages on domain root or under? It depends on the SERPs. So for that question there, South Charlotte service, if I'm looking at a SERP and it's all sub like parent-child directories, and I could see a hard silo is being rewarded time and time again, then that's what I'm going to do. But 99.9% of the time, Google is going to reward the pages that are directly off the root because this is the idea that supports this, right? So if the main entity is your brand / here's what we do and where we do it, right? I'm going to get into that right now with Josh with his painting business. He does interior, exterior, and roofs, right? So we're gonna drill into how to potentially lay this out. This isn't the end all be all. This is just potentially how I would do it in this particular case. Quiseni says it's difficult to rank in another town with GMP if you don't have an address there. That is 100% correct. You are not kidding. But just like I shared with this boiler, right? It's if you identify a city area, you can hit all those towns. Sometimes that's 10 miles, right? You can get up to 10 miles, sometimes more, sometimes less. But generally within the city that you're in, you can hit the surrounding areas without a shadow of a doubt. And the reason why that is because there's businesses everywhere and there's probably a more relevant result. Proximity to the searcher is more relevant than somebody that's more authoritative a whole town over, right? So that's why it becomes harder and harder to rank farther out you go, especially in big cities. Because in the big city, there's so many people doing it, and we know that proximity to the searcher is the leading factor, right? Which trumps the traffic and the reviews and the clicks and everything that you can do, right? The strategies that we outline, or the tactics that we outline, work exceptionally well in smaller areas. Why? Because there's less competition. All right. So thank you, Chris. And what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about Josh. Give me 2 seconds and we're going to outline this for Josh. Give me 2 seconds here. Okay. He's got to take care of Roni. Roni. He's not a phony. He loves baloney.
Hey, Chris.
Yo!
Come here.
I can't. I'm working, buddy. All right. My son's friend. I go across the street. Go see him, not me. All right. So in any case here. All right. So let's help out Josh here. So Josh does. Let's go over here. Let's go here and go here. All right. I think you can see my screen. Let me make sure. Yes. Okie dokie. So here we are. We'll go up here. Here we go. So we have this. We go here. We go here. We go here. We go here. So our friend Josh is asking a question. He does interior painting, right? He does exterior painting, right? And he does roof painting, right? So he does these 3 things. Now, Josh is offering his services in AU. What is it? Sydney is the big one? I don't know who that is, but Sydney, AU. So let's just say it's Sydney, right? It doesn't necessarily matter where it is. But let's just say it's Sydney, okay? So we're going to go with Sydney, Castle Hill, and St. Clair, we'll say, all right? So what we want is we have Josh's website. So this is joshpainter.com, right? We'll just say / we have his interior painting. Or we could have Control C, Control V, text, Control V. Then we have exterior painting. Then we have our roof painting, right? These are our 3 top level pages. Now, from a drawing standpoint, you have your home page, okay? And then you're going to have your main page, which is this page here. Now, from this page, you are going to talk about one, 2, 3. You're going to link to 1, 2, and 3 from here. This is our interior painting, exterior painting, and roof painting, right? So if I'm on the interior painting page, I'm going to internally link to interior painting Sydney. Interior painting, and here's how you're going to lay it out, just like this. So joshpainter.com / interior painting Sydney. Just like this. Okay? Okay? So we have our main page where I'm going to talk about interior painting. And I'm going to internally link to my interior painting in Sydney, Castle Hill, or wherever else you decide to do your painting. Okay? So now we have our main page targeting broad keywords, probably an informational page. Maybe you want to answer your facts here. You want to talk about everything interior painting. Then we want to talk about our interior painting, but for Sydney. We're optimized for Sydney specifically. Then when we want to create our supporting content, what we want to do is we have this page here. All right, so here, let me show you something here. All right. We're using this example here. We're talking to Josh here. Josh was asking about his company. So remember, we have our interior painting. This is a top level page talking about interior painting. From this page is where we want to create our supporting articles. Our interior painting and our interior painting plus location pages are directly off the root. Now, why, Chris? Well, Google is most probably, that's what they're rewarding. They're either rewarding a homepage or a top level page. So I want to hit the broad match keywords and talk everything about interior painting, talk about the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, maybe even give them a how to on that top level page. I want to get as many keywords as possible in that page because that top level page is my buffer page. That's the page that I want to internally link to my location pages. But I also want to have my supporting articles. So what we'll do is you'll create the parent is interior painting, and then the child is going to be, well, what is interior painting? Right? How to do interior painting. When should I get an interior painter? Where is an interior painter? Best interior painters. And that's how you set this up. All right, Josh, I hope that helps you out, but you have to first figure out, well, what's Google rewarding exactly? So what you'll do is you'll head out here to Google and you'll ask Google, hey, Google, interior painting Sydney. Now, it might be hard silos. I don't know. I have to look. All right, homepage, right off the root, homepage, 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 homepage. The only way to combat this type of activity is just like this guy did here. So he's became authoritative enough to target Sydney with an internal page, not his homepage. Everyone else, these guys, the only traffic they're getting is to their homepage. They're not going to win nothing else. They might rank for a bunch of keywords, but it's all going to the homepage. And in the long term, if you optimize your site properly and you're ranking your internal pages, you'll end up ranking for more keywords and end up with more traffic than this person that's trying to get it all here. I would venture to guess that on this page here, residential, he's probably talking about locations. Let's go take a little peek together. All right. We have an internal page. I don't think that this is optimal by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like how he has his image. He has his little box here. I would venture to guess that he's talking about Sydney from somewhere within here. Yeah, he is. Perfect. And then he may even be talking about the secondary areas in here somewhere too. Now, I don't know who this is. This is just, I just pulled this rabbit out of a hat, right? But hopefully that helps you out, Josh. Josh Hockley. Hopefully that helps you out, my friend. You're the man. Thank you for the favor. Sure. It's difficult to rank when you don't have a location. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. How can a UK company create and optimize a US GMB listing? Let's say it's for a digital service. We use registered addresses, or does Google not like those? It isn't clear from them. It's very clear. If your business is not in the actual location, then you're a service area business. If your business is not allowed to use a co-working space unless there's a caveat if you go and read Google's rules and guidelines. Okay, there is a caveat. I don't know it off the top of my head, but you can go and read that for yourself. It's very clear their stance on the utilization of virtual offices or co-working space. Okay, I think it's a no-go. All right. But with that being said, it's up to you how you decide to do that. Ignore, let me know if you already answered it somewhere else. I'll find it. I hope. Okie dokie. Thank you, Chris. It's my pleasure, Josh. I'm glad to help. Last one, I think, here. All right. There are a few things I look forward to concerning my business. You are the exception, faith, family, and freedom. For God so loved the world. That is, you took the words right out of my mouth. I thank you. I appreciate you, brother. Crypto White Hat. Hey, Chris, my friends. Best greetings from Germany. Hello to you from Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. Man, I'm just truly blessed. If I show you where all of this started, and then slowly but surely we worked our way to here, from Kensington to Pottsville to Tamaqua. It's a blessing. I'm just happy to help. All right. Could you say something about factual content related for local pages on the website? I detected the factual content with right user intent and right entities is the most efficient way. Well, here's what's very intriguing. I noticed a top SEO doing this too, or at least one of the most notable. Right, they're out and about. They have even though they are perceived as highly white hat, they still have access to PBN, right? And what they're doing is they're fact checking their own content through PBNs. So they'll use schema markup in order to fact check something that they're saying, or they'll go out to Google and grab it right from their website or wherever, and then utilize it within their asset. And the content is ranking a lot higher. So fact checked or factual corroborated, like fact checked information where you can point to another asset and say, hey, here's where I got it from. It does perform, and it will say underneath, it'll give you an enhancement that says fact checked because you're using the schema. Very clever. On top of that, entity usage, right? Relevance equals rank. So people, places, things, including this or increasing the amount of this inside of your content from multiple APIs will be in your best interest. What do I mean by this specifically? Google's NLP and TextRaiser data combined can massively help how your pages perform. So much so, I built a tool around these two. So there you go. That's exactly when I figured out, hey, I like this data and I like this data. And when I combine these datas, I get this output. Hey, let's make a tool with this. I just want the words. So that's what we did. All right. In the last 2 months, there's heavy updates about factual content, no question. Available entity tool very, very soon. Very, very soon. I just talked to Sammy this morning. He just got back. He was away. He stayed an extra 10 days. Plus, I went away. I wasn't really talking, or I would have knew that he was staying longer. But him and his brother just got married. They just got back. I talked to him today. It's coming. It's coming. I try not to rush things. Everything that's meant to be will be, right? And I don't rush things. I've learned the hardest ways in my life not to rush things. I don't rush it. Everything will come to fruition when it's time. The site is up. You can feel free to get on the list. Search engine optimization tools.com. Like it's search engine optimization tools.com. Oops. That's the back end. So there you go. All right. Search engine optimization tools.com. All right. And that's that. So there you go. Grid map, cannibalization, citation checker. I forgot about that one. In the beginning of this video, I was mentioning the strategy of getting the top 10 performers for each keyword. So essentially, if you have 3 different keywords that you want to target, that would technically be 30 different competitors. What this tool will do is you put in your search phrases, it'll go grab the competitors and it'll go grab all their main citations and put them in a list. And then what you can do between us is, how Bright Local, you can choose the citations, but it's actually based on a database. Well, what we're doing is we're going to live scrape your competition and we'll go build those citations and directories based on your competition, not on a list that we curated. I think it'll be very, very helpful for everybody because that's what we've been doing internally. So that's what we want to do for you. So I'm excited for this, but I'm not in a rush, brother, but soon enough. All right. We locals exterior, cool. Pro Wash, I believe you can help us have 2 GMBs. Maybe, maybe I can help you in certain ways. Anything against the guidelines, I cannot help you with. I use mostly Wikipedia for factual. Awesome. But that could be edited or modified, so I would be clear of that. Crypto White Hat put some naturally links external to Wikipedia semantic topics. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, Chris, does still it work placing all the keywords on a web page and hide them using CSS code for front end as this is still being used for multiple websites? Hiding the content utilizing CSS, the code will still be read. Do I think that this is the most effective way? Not necessarily, no. I think there's other ways to do it. Yeah. So I think there's better ways to do it. I like swapping with JavaScript. That way you can put content into the DOM, and that's how we like to do it. I think that's the most clever and fun way. That way, client sees X, bot sees Y, right? So that's what we like. We just want them to rank, right? We need their phone to ring. That's what we need. Gain so hard to rank. Okay, moving on. Hey, Chris, do you help with appeal process? I can submit appeals for you. But what I do know is there's a lot of services out there. And what they're doing is they're either automating the process of see, if you get suspended, you get an email and you can submit a appeal through as a user or as a owner, but then you can also do it as a representative. So there are a lot of guys and gals out there that have created automation tools that you'll put in the one as a owner, and then you'll put in mass amounts as a representative. And because it's not manual, it's done with automatic, you can catch a yes before you get denied. And then oftentimes what you'll notice, at least if it's a soft suspension, what you'll notice on soft suspensions, meaning like when you search your business, like, yeah, you're blocked and yes, you're off, but it still shows up when you search your business, even though you're suspended, right? Doing it as a representative can help you. What I'm giving you is the formula, right? Like submit a bunch of them. Like, hey, request. It can work for you. So I hope that helps you. I don't sell it because it's something that's free and it's 50-50. I cannot guarantee that I'll get it back for you, And then really all I'm doing is I'm submitting the requests to see if I get a yes and then charging for it. It's just not something that I do. There's lots of guys on Fiverr doing it though, and maybe they could help you, but that's what they're doing. They're just submitting on your behalf. So good luck to you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right. Hey, Chris. Wouldn't you make this structure boiler installation and then make location pages for each location like there have been on other sites? On that asset there, I would make a boiler installation page, and then I would make boiler installation plus Darby, boiler installation Sunny Hill, boiler installation. Yes, I would target the other locations. Now, in that instance that I was showing you before, I wouldn't do o'hare.com/boiler installation/boiler installation Darby. I would move the location pages up to the root, but I would still have a boiler installation page in place, right? Like I would set the category, but I'm not going to make a parent child of the locations. I would make the locations parent pages. All right. So hopefully that helps you out. You can answer me, please. Why am I skipping a question? I didn't. It's the first time I saw you there, Yashi. But go ahead, throw it in, my friend. I mean, I'm doing this live. I wouldn't skip you. I'm looking to answer questions. You know what I mean? Like I didn't skip you. My appeal got denied. How many appeals do you get? I would try again. I would try again. Um, I would try again. See that email, what you'll note, I would try again. That's all I can say. How many? Hard to say because I've had communications probably 10 to 15 times back and forth. Um, so yeah. So what, you're submitting the required information and they keep denying you? I would try again. Don't make it white. Well, not CSS white. Um, but white on white can still work. I mean, uh, see, if your page is all F, what is it? F or zero? I think it's F, 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 F. If you make it FI or F1, right? Like it's not directly the same color, you won't get dinged. All right. I'm not telling you to go do this, but it can work. All right. I know you now many years. Really? And I'm so happy. Free useful information. It's my pleasure. All right. 20 euros. Thank you. A pair dancing with rain confetti. You're amazing. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Let me see you. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. When you show the clinic or something, you said OMG. Yeah. About the services and the products. Can you explain why and how it should be? Well, it's just as a disaster and a mess. See, I spoke to that particular business owner, so I have some insight into the business, right? And I know that their primary actual business for them is laser, right? So anything to do with laser. So why we are going to dilute ourselves by offering all of this other stuff when our main dollars are made with laser. And plus, a lot of the other stuff requires medical degrees and attentions, and things like Botox and stuff are frowned upon. Why do we even want to dilute or hurt ourselves with that stuff? So when I look down the list and I see all these products and all these services, I'm like, OMG, why would you do this to yourself? And that's why. I'm going to take a little break and probably fire this up again. And we're going to go in there and optimize because I have some time today and I'm making some videos for the future. But that's why I OMG'd it, right? Explain how it should be. Well, we're going to optimize that profile together. So I'll do you one better than that. I'm probably going to do that live. I'm going to fix some of her structure, and we're going to go and do the basic optimization of the profile. Basically, just clean that thing out, right? She gave me full control to help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that up, but I need some time to reset. I'm going to have a drink, eat a burger, and just relax for a minute, because to me, answering the questions and thinking and doing this is like high frequency. I need a little break and then I'll come back. All right. But I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Internally link all town pages to homepage. No. So moving company 1, 2, and 3, these pages will internally link to one another, but we generally don't want to link back up to the homepage. See, how we generally structure a site is we'll create homepage main entity / entity of which is the service. In this case, it's moving. So we'll have a moving page where we'll internally link to all of our moving location pages. So all those moving location pages will internally link to one another as long as they're in the same city, right? Or in the same state, they'll internally link to one another. We'll build supporting content that will link to this. And then all of these pages will link up to the main service page, and the service page will link down. We're trying to devalue the homepage other than for brand and branded terms, right? That's how we do it. I'm looking to get importance on primary service pages. Like, clients generally want their brand to win, but I don't care about their brand. I want them to rank for their primary services, right? Like, that's my top priority. So we all do this game differently though, so Maybe Google doing some update or put some updates out. Understand. My main service page is homepage. That is painful, crypto white hat. See, it's that white hat thing. You gotta get in the middle, my friend. you know, uh, yeah, you gotta get in the middle. See, I love you guys. In any case, my name is Chris Palmer. If you have not already, if you're using any tools and you want a solution, please check out my partner and I run proxypixie.com. This is 4G mobile proxies. Um, this is a privately held network. We're almost at capacity. I have a few more seats, right? We're looking to get these few more seats compiled, and then we're going to launch in another state. I'm also going to be launching this in the UK very, 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 very soon, right? Like the order of business right now is we're going to get out our tool set, and then we're launching more locations for Proxy Pixie. Alongside of that, I'm redoing www.seomastermind.org. So if you check out the mastermind, what's going to be great is we will have all the tests available. Going to play with the costs. We're going to lower the costs depending on the test. So we'll have all the tests. We'll have all of our coaching, all of our testing group. I have so many new trainings to upload. We're going to lower the cost on everything and make education accessible. Tons of education for a low cost, high value, low cost. Proxy Pixie is launching into new locations. I'm only telling you this because you're on my channel and I hope that you care what I'm doing. Okay. I'm not pitching. I'm just telling you. Okay. So tests, results, coaching, and training. I'm also launching a Done With Me. It's going to be probably a 6-month or a 12-month program where we meet every week. We're going to take a site from beginning until end. It's going to be a lead generation business. I even have a place to go sell leads. So that'll, of course, right? I have lots of places actually. But it's going to be primarily for the home space. So if you want to learn that with me, come on with me. We'll be launching that soon. The next thing that I want to point out is, of course, chrispalmer.org, but I have some new stuff coming out. So chrispalmer.org is fun, right? But this is a white label deliverable based business. I have a new partner that we're going to be doing a full done for you. I haven't 100% decided what it's going to be, but it's a complete done for you monthly. So this is deliverable based. We're going to be doing monthly because what I realized is most business owners don't even know where to start with a menu like this. They don't know when to buy them, when to get them, how many to get, where they should send them. They're not SEOs. They're doing their business. So, okay. So we have white label for agencies and guys and gals that are just like me. They know what they need or they have customers that they have to service. We'll have a done for you monthly solution, courses, training, testing, and a monthly program. I have mobile proxies and the SaaS is on its way. My name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org and all of these other assets. These are a few. I have some lead gen assets that I could never show you publicly, but they're my bread and butter. This is the stuff that interests me. So I've been growing this over the years, just certain little aspects of the SEO business. But I love you guys and gals. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll probably be right back here to do some optimizations for Bell Clinic live. We'll do it together. She's a great lady. She's in London. I hope to help her out. I'll see you soon. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time. Many blessings. I'll see you in a little bit. Hey, Chris, I want to improve my local SEO. Do you think Go High Level is a good option for this, or would you go WordPress to be more effective? I think that you never want to spend time thinking or getting ready to do the thing. You just want to go and do the thing, right? And oftentimes you'll see a million avenues to help, But if you're not getting traffic and you're not getting leads and you're not getting anything, what's all the bells and whistles going to do for you? The only thing it's going to do is bog you down and take your time. So with that being said, I think Go High Level is an amazing platform, but I think there's much better ways to go about it. And I think that you should be more focused on getting the initial thing, whatever that is, business, plumbing, SEO, whatever you're doing. Let's take care of that before adding all the bells and whistles. But I think it's entirely up to you. This is just one man's opinion. All right. But thank you, Chris. It's my pleasure. And Pinoy Print, hopefully that helps you out. All right. Focus on what you're doing, right? Get your main asset up. And then you add the email sequencing and the tracking and the analytics and the hot jar and the emails and the text mails and all this junk, like all this crazy stuff going on that will only produce 4% of your sales. Do the main thing, perfect the main thing, optimize the main thing. And then if you want to add later, then add. This is just my opinion. I love you so much.